The Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. So I spoke yesterday about selling a house without an agent, and someone commented about using flat fee agents. So I want to discuss what they are, how they can be useful, and why I don't recommend them as a long-term solution. So when I first started doing this business, I actually hooked up with a local realtor. I really was only doing Elmont, and there was one realtor who I thought was really the expert there, and I used them to list my properties. And it was expensive, right? And I thought that she was doing a great job. But over time, I realized that listing agents really don't have that hard of a time. At the time when I was doing this, so this is back in 2013, I started saying, I don't know why I'm paying this person an extra 2%. Selling houses for $400,000, $8,000. My budget was tight. So I switched to a flat fee listing agent. So there are flat fee agents out there. Most of them are national. No, some of them are national, some of them are local. And what you do is you pay them a flat fee, let's say $500. I think I paid $500, and they will list your property for you. The idea of that being that I will now have the property on MLS, and all the buyer's agents will bring people to come. And it was an okay solution, but I don't think it's a great long-term solution. It's a good short-term solution for you. And we're going to talk soon about why I think everybody should get listed, and I've spoken about this 100 times, but I'm still going to repeat it. So the main problems I have with flat fee listings are, number one, you're not really in control of the listing, right? You have to send the information to someone, and they put the listing up. They put it up when they're ready. Now, it may be quick, it may not be. And anytime you need to make a change, because sometimes you screw up on a listing, you mess up, I put the taxes wrong or something like that, you want to make a change. So you want to put that stuff in correctly, and having control of the list, not having control of the listing is sometimes a hindrance to selling the property. Now, another issue is that a lot of buyer's agents know that it's a flat fee listing agent, and some buyer's agents don't want to deal with that, right? Because they're concerned that this agency, which is based in Connecticut, for example, it's going to be difficult to deal with them. There's not going to be anybody there. They know that a flat fee agent basically is representing a seller by themselves, and then the seller is going to be conducting the showing, and they feel like it's going to be less professional. So there are buyer's agents who are going to shy away from that because they feel like it's going to be more difficult to get the deal done. They're not going to be dealing with somebody that they want to, and also they're not going to be so protected to get paid if something goes wrong. So those are the two issues with it. Now, it is a good Band-Aid short-term solution, but the long-term solution to getting property sold is to get licensed. Now, I've said this a lot. I'm going to say it again. I think anybody in this business should be licensed. Getting licensed is easy. It's not hard. It doesn't take a long time, and it doesn't take a lot of money. The basic steps of getting licensed: go online, Google Groupon, 75-hour New York State salesperson's license course. Take it online. If you work on a computer, you can have it just in the background. It's $99. Then you can take a book out of the library called Cram for the Exam, which will really teach you all the stuff you need to learn if you haven't learned it from your $99 course. I don't recommend people take live courses because it takes a full week. A lot of people can't take off, and it's very possible you're going to get a shitty instructor where you're not going to learn anything live anyway. So I would just say take the $99 course, learn the information from the book, which you can buy on Amazon or take out from a local library, and then for $8 you take the test. Again, this test is not brain surgery. I know it's coming from me, and I had a lot of years of mortgage experience, and I knew a lot of the things, but it's really not that hard. Most realtors are not, realty wasn't their second choice after neurosurgery, right? These are not difficult things. So it's easy. It doesn't take a lot of time. It's not that hard. It's not that expensive. $107 is what it should cost to get licensed. Now, once you are licensed, you will then have three main benefits in this business that I push. That the reason why I push everybody to be licensed. Number one is you will have access to the multiple listing service, the MLS, which is by far and away the best way to come up with values, to comp out properties, right? To get comparable sales, to come up with values. That's very important. Now, you may have a way to get MLS access. Your sister's an agent. She gives you her credentials, which she's not supposed to. But assuming you don't, you want MLS access so that you can get values. It is, in our area, there is nothing like it. There are products elsewhere, like Propelio in Texas. There are products that do it, and PropStream is pretty good, but it's not as good as having access to the multiple listing service. So you want multiple listing service. That's number one. Number two is you want you want the ability to list your own property. So certainly if you're wholesaling or you rehab the property and you want to sell it to retail buyers, you want obviously to list it on the MLS as we discussed. But the truth is you're even allowed to list wholesale properties. I listed a wholesale property recently in Babylon. I did very well with it. You are absolutely allowed to list properties if you don't own them, as long as you represent that you are a contract vendee, which means that you don't own the property. You're not allowed to represent you own a property if you don't. But it's perfectly legal to list a wholesale property. So you want the ability to list your own properties. And the truth is, number three, is if you go on enough appointments, you're going to come in contact with people who either really just want to list, right, and there was some miscommunication that you thought they wanted to sell to an investor, or that they should list. So I've gone on dozens, if not 100 appointments where the person says, I want to sell to an investor. And I look around and I go, why? And they go, well, the house is old. And I go, you're right, it's old, but it's okay. And you can get a lot more for this property listing it for sale. Now, you may look at me and say, this guy's an idiot. He's taking a buy, right, where I make more money and turning it into a listing where I make less money. But the truth is that if somebody really can list, they're probably going to end up listing. It's not hard. Everybody knows they can't, that the listing is a possibility. And at some point, you think you're going to get this deal to buy, and then they're going to speak to some realtor who's going to say, you're nuts for selling it $100,000 less. So I've said on dozens, if not 100 occasions, maybe hundreds of occasions, listen, I'll give you a number, but you're going to leave $100,000 on the table if you sell it to me. You're much better off listing it, and I'll get you top dollar for it. And that's really in their best interest, and you really should always be acting in the seller's best interest. So I would say those three reasons: access to the MLS, the multiple listing service, the ability to list your own properties, and the ability to take listings. Now, even if you don't want to run the listing, now I have the luxury of having a disposition manager who handles the listings for me. Even if you don't want to do the listings, right? You don't want to do open houses, you don't want to deal with buyers, let's say you don't, which is probably a good idea to do actually when you're new, because you learn a lot. But if you don't want to do that, you can just find another agent who will split the commission with you. So it's free money out there. If there's a listing, if a property is going to be listed and you have an inside track to get the listing, not getting the listing to me is just stupid. So those are the reasons why I would avoid flat fee listings for a long period of time. They are good for short term, right? If you need to sell your property, and you can do it. But because you don't have control of the listing, as we said, and because you are using a name that a lot of people don't know and will think that this could be an issue, you could push some buyers away. So I would advise everyone to get listed themselves. You need to park your license somewhere. You feel free to park it here as long as you pay your dues, which I think are like $500-600 a year. You don't pay that to me. You pay that to LIBOR, the Long Island Board of Realtors, and blah, 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 blah. So you, as long as you pay that, you're fine. I don't charge any monthly fee or anything, and you get 100% commission. So those are my thoughts on flat fee listings. You know, I know there are guys I know in other parts of the country that use them all the time. I don't really understand why they don't get licensed. I think that there is this sort of undercurrent, and we've discussed it before, of gurus in this business who tell you don't get licensed because then you're going to be at odds. You're going to have this conflict that you're not acting in the fiduciary responsibility of the seller. I tell you, I don't understand it. I just don't. I've never had a situation where somebody was on the fence whether they should list and make more money or sell to me and make less money. They almost always sell to me because of some specific reason, right? There are 4 reasons people sell to me. Number 1 is tenant issues. So they have uncooperative tenants or just tenants that they don't want to tell to leave, even if they're paying rent. Number 2 is municipal issues. So unpermitted additions, open permits, open violations that they don't want to deal with. Number 3 is condition issues. So there's some kind of real major damage with the property. They feel like they're going to have to fix it. And what's 4 is time issues. So they need to sell really fast, or just faster than the 3 to 4 months it takes to list, or they need like a contract now, but they need open-ended because they're not exactly sure where they're going, or they're sure where they're going, but it's not ready. So I bought properties from people who were building houses, and the builder was just taking much longer than they expected. 1 second. Sorry. So those are the reasons people sell to me. So I've never had a situation where I thought, if I was licensed, this guy would list with me, but because I'm not, he's going to sell to me. It just doesn't work that way. Not in my experience, but I've only been doing this for full time for about 10 years. So I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you are interested in, what are you interested in? If you're interested in one-on-one coaching or all those things, you can contact me. My information is below. I have a study at home program also that teaches how to do what I do. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any media channel, please click the thumbs up. The likes really help the algorithm. A lot more people have been seeing my videos, a lot more. So thank you all for all your thumbs up, and keep the questions coming. I post 5 times a week. I don't always know what to say. So your questions do 2 things, right? They give me ideas to think about so that I can do future videos on, and also they let me answer your question. So ask any question. It does not have to be about the video you're watching. If it's a simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something I've covered recently, I'll send you a link to a video on it. If it's something new, I'll do a brand new video on it. So thank you very, very much for watching.